Good journey, everyone. Welcome to Space Oats Live, a Star Wars podcast. I am the Crucial Crew member, Jay, and it is a January the 22nd, 2025. Man, is it cold out? I don't know how anybody is doing this whole East Coast thing, but I know that even the South and just friends in Texas and everywhere, it's cold. People are getting snow in Florida. This is crazy. We didn't get any Florida in here in Orlando, but it got close. It got close. It got down to the 30s last night. Actually, it was freezing almost, I think, this morning early and in close to Orlando. So, like, if we had precipitation, we probably could have had some snow. Would have been crazy. I think 1977 was the last time it snowed here in Disney World. I am so grateful that I have this nice warm. First time I've actually felt like I wanted to put this on. This was from Culture Fly. It was a really cool little droid um, holiday sweatshirt, but I love it. It's great for this warm weather. So but I love it. Look, it's just so like wintry, and got the cool Rebel logos there. I'm nice and toasty. I'm nice and toasty. I got a nice drink, even though it's cold drink. It's nice and warm and toasty inside. It gives me little fun feelings. So it's a good drink. I like this one. I mixed this up a little while ago. A little bit of bourbon, a little bit of prosecco, some lemon juice, and some simple syrup. Love my bourbon. That's good stuff. So we're gonna talk about Star Wars tonight. How about that? How about that? Wondering what I was gonna do, because honestly, Skeleton Crew's over. I'm still rewatching it. I mean, I've watched it like 3 times. I love the series. I really hope these characters continue on. I know it got good ratings with Rotten Tomatoes. It got it's got some good reviews. I know there's a lot of people out there that are still like binge watching, and I hope they all enjoy it. I would love to see a season 2 of Skeleton Crew. I love how Disney has not announced anything as of yet. That gives us hope. Because the last time it was just cancel right away. But that hasn't happened yet. Good. Let's keep positive vibes with a continuing story in the Star Wars universe, especially in this Mandoverse that we got going. Love these kids. Love this great story. It was great all the way till the end. Fun adventure, fun family adventure. By the way. Great times. If you haven't watched it yet, please watch it. It's great. I'm not going to talk too much about it tonight because, I already did my reviews for the. Go ahead and watch those. The past podcasts, you can listen to all my thoughts on the Skeleton Crew series as it came out this past year and the beginning of or the end of last year. We're going to talk about one. We're going to do our little not long ago in this galaxy segment in a minute. We're going to talk a lot about that. And we are going to talk about some new Marvel comics entering the world. That just actually announced today. Some a new Marvel series coming out, which is exciting. Kind of taking place around maybe the same time as all this Mandoverse is getting going. I would love to see like interconnections with those stories in the future. So that would be really cool. And then a little bit of Star Wars Celebration news that was announced. We keep getting little tidbits here and there. I'm super excited. I mean, that's my number one thing this year for 2025. Star Wars Celebration, Japan. Can't wait for that. I can't believe it's like almost like it's just like 2.5 months away. It's gonna go by quick because last year just went by like crazy quick. So can't wait for that. Just on a little bit of a side note, I did get a chance to go to Disney this week. I haven't been for a while. I go every week. What am I talking about? I did go to the Festival of the Arts, which is so much fun because there is Star Wars incorporated in the Festival of the Arts. A lot of good artists. They do a lot of cool Star Wars art. So if you love art, you love Disney, head to Epcot right now because Festival of the Arts is in full bloom. I gotta check on my friend Adam Shinkling if he is there and when he's there because I would love to go see him. I forgot to check before I went yesterday. Can't believe I didn't do that. He usually comes around at the end. I kind of feel sorry about the weather right now with them. It's been pretty crazy, but I really want to. I don't know if I'll buy anything Star Wars, but got to go over there, got to support checking out these artists. And if you are an art person, you can meet them. You can meet some of the artists there. You can get some signed prints, all of that. It's great, fun. Got some great food this year. A lot of new stuff, a lot of seafood stuff. If you love seafood. So yeah, I chowed down on a lot of stuff on Tuesday. It was rainy. It was cold. Not a lot of people there. We only stayed for like 2 hours because we were like freezing. But we bugged out and we got a good fill. Soft shell crabs. If you love soft shell crabs, soft shell crabs were amazing. I'm definitely going to keep getting those every time I go because they were great. They were fantastic. Reminded me of the Northeast back home. So love soft shell crab sandwiches, and it's a little slider one, but it's great, perfect, done very well. Yeah, so let's get started. Why don't we go ahead and talk about or not long ago in this galaxy? We're going to do that because this is going to be pretty much the bulk of this episode, is the not long ago in this galaxy. Kind of going back a little bit and talking about what happened today in Star Wars history. By the way, I do this on YouTube. Sometimes I throw it up on TikTok every now and then. I also will throw it in posts and little shorts, sometimes even going live on my YouTube channel. I do have it all filed under not long ago in this galaxy as far as the playlist. So if you want to go back and look at what's happened, every day, I try to switch it up. I'm doing a better job this year of making sure that I date each one of them. So when I go back next year, hopefully I can do something different next year. And pick some different things. Better keep track of things to know what I've talked about, what I've not talked about, and yeah, that way I can do some different things each year and have some fun with that. But today, not long ago in this galaxy, let me go and I will prerequisite this one. Couldn't find another. This is another one. This is hard when I go back with some of these, especially like before. Around the dark times of Star Wars, when there wasn't anything after Return of the Jedi to Phantom Menace, it was hard to find exact like dates on things, on a lot of stuff. So, but this is something that's kind of, I'm pulling this out because it happened. And it happened, not like it's bad or anything. I'm not sure that this is the exact date for this, but we're going to talk about this. This is we're going to talk about the Caravan of Courage, the Ewok television movie, but also it was a theatrical release as well in some countries. So not long ago in this galaxy today, we're going to January 22nd, 1985. Yes. This was released in 84, but the Ewok movie Caravan of Courage was released theatrically in Panama, supposedly today, not long ago in this galaxy. Again, I could not verify this outside of the Star Wars app today in Star Wars. And honestly, I didn't even look. There is another website that sometimes will do Star Wars history. So let me just real quick and see if that happened on their watch as well, because sometimes that's like a guarantee. But I did look. There's another website out there that kind of has every day with its own Wikipedia, actually. But yes, this was actually confirmed by them as well. So most likely, this happened today in Star Wars, January 22nd, again, 1985. The movie Caravan of Courage released theatrically in Panama. I actually have a friend of mine. His wife is from, well, his wife's family is from Panama. I've never been to Panama. Would love to do a cruise through Panama. That would be fun. But so a little bit of history of the Caravan of Courage. George Lucas, after Star Wars became a hit in 1977, was all about merchandise. Merchandise, kind of putting Star Wars out there, whatever way he could get Star Wars noticed. Kind of just to really, I think, I think the real intention is to build his own budget or his own funds so that he can put more into a budget for his next film. That was big on his intentions. He wanted to expand what he could do because he knew he was limited with his budget from 20th Century Fox, and he wanted to make it better, which has always been an intention, to break grounds as far as technology, special effects, everything. I mean, he was groundbreaking as it was, but he wanted to expand on that and do more. So he was allowing Star Wars pretty much to be everywhere. Merchandise, like all sorts of like commercials, TV spots, whatever, everything. We know that that's one of the reasons why he allowed the Star Wars universe to be produced for television. 1978, the Star Wars Holiday Special. That caused him to kind of really rethink some of the things that he was going to allow Star Wars to be connected with. Because that was kind of an embarrassment at the time. Now, all of us have a heart for the Holiday Special now. And in fact, in the Skeleton Crew, we got throwbacks to the Holiday Special, which was fantastic because I love this Holiday Special. I love it's an annual thing, a tradition, watching that every year for Life Day, and look at Life Day and what it's become. Not only with the fandom, but also in the parks. So many cool things happening with Life Day being celebrated, and that all started with the Holiday Special. So you got to give the Holiday Special some credit. Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure, was theatrically released overseas under that name. So originally, it was the Ewok Adventure, Caravan of Courage. But then when it went to theaters, it was kind of reversed in its title. As the poster here shows, it was Caravan of Courage, an Ewok Adventure. And as it was here released on television, as a television movie, it was released around the world theatrically in other countries. Rather than them showing it on television, they showed it in the theaters, which was pretty amazing. Didn't look, but I would love to find out if it's ever been shown in the theaters in the United States. I wouldn't mind going to see it. I think that would be a fun thing. But the Ewok Adventure was first shown on American television on November 25th, 1984 on ABC, which coincidentally now is all owned under Disney, Star Wars, all of it together, which is kind of funny that happens. That kind of joint relationship continued, and then it's all connected now. I do remember when this came out. I was very young at the time, but I do remember that. It was followed by a sequel later on in 1985, which, once Ewok Caravan of Courage was released around the world, later on in 1985, November 25th, pretty much a year after the Caravan of Courage was released, the sequel was released, The Battle for Endor, in 1985. Now, long time, it kind of like pulled away. It was almost like George Lucas felt the same way about the Ewok movies as he did with the Holiday Special. Not so much so, but we didn't really see much of it. You couldn't really purchase it anywhere. It was really tough to find if you wanted a copy of it. Honestly, I think I had a copy of Battle for Endor that was recorded off of television that I had for a really long time. But Caravan of Courage, I kind of didn't see, except for like the first time, a long time after. So Battle for Endor was like the only one that I could get a hold of. And it was really tough to find a copy of Caravan of Courage. I think one of my neighbors had a copy of it, somehow surfaced, and I remember watching it again. But it was just something that you couldn't find anywhere. It was really tough. But in March of 2021, this is after Disney had purchased Lucasfilm, After Disney Plus has been released, it was announced that both films would begin streaming on Disney Plus on April 2nd, 2021. I wouldn't say it was a birthday gift, but that is my birthday. So I remember when that happened. I remember totally freaking out, flipping out, loving that. And, I watched it again today. I do throw these movies in every now and then and just go back and watch them. And was I paying it full attention? No, I was doing other stuff, but I love having these things on in the background while I'm at home, on my days off, while I'm doing stuff around the house. So basically, the premise of the film is the Tawani family. The Tawani family have their star cruiser has crashed on the forest moon of Endor. The forest moon of Endor that we know and love, that has all of the Ewoks. After a crazy adventure where the Tawani parents have been captured by a Gorax, and the Ewoks, after a little side hiccup with little Sindel getting sick, and hence the quote of this podcast, with the medicine. When I was watching it today, I was like, that's got to be my title. Medicine. We need more medicine. We need more medicine. It was just so funny watching that. But goofy little film. But little Sindel Tawani getting sick and the Ewoks helping her. Mace, her brother, just really not trusting the Ewoks. But them helping them find their parents and succeeding in the end. And the Tawanis end up deciding to stay with the Ewoks, basically knowing that obviously this is a planet that they know and they can help protect them while they try and repair their star cruiser and be on their way. There's a really cool little, I think they were called wisps. I can't remember what they were called. Crap, I didn't write it down. But I know the name of the little wisp that went with Mace is Rena. And kind of help them out. This little flying little thing kind of reminded me of those little fairies that were in Willow, honestly. But at the end, Azrina returns to her family, or their family. But little fun little creature that was in there as well. The cast was some of the cast that was actually in Return of the Jedi, which was pretty cool. You got Warwick Davis, obviously. I mean, who other would play Wicket? You got to have Warwick Davis play Wicket. So Warwick Davis actually performed Wicket. However, the voice of Wicket, which Wicket has learned a little bit of English by Little Sindel, and Wicket's voice was by Daryl Henriquez. Now, if you want to know who Daryl Henriquez is, he's done some voices and voice acting and just one-offs, like kind of in movies where he's been like extras in the movies. If you actually really want to know what he looks like, watch Jumanji again. He was in Jumanji. He was the gun salesman in Jumanji, which is pretty funny to know that. I actually didn't know that until today. But if you really want to know who that actor is that played or performed Wicket's voice, Daryl Henriquez, the gun salesman in Jumanji. Aubrey Miller, who really didn't do anything outside of Ewoks, was Little Sindel Tawani, Aubrey Miller. Eric Walker played Mace, her brother. Eric actually is still kind of in the sci-fi community. He did kind of stick to acting a little bit, but he does have a website, and it is called All for Sci-Fi, and he has a podcast of the same name, and he records videos, podcast episodes with his co-host Captain Rickster. They discuss all topics having to do with sci-fi movies, television shows, and more. So if you want to get up on what Mace Tawani is doing, Eric Walker, you can head over to his podcast and take a listen. Let's see, the parents actually were pretty established actors. Obviously, they look very familiar when you watch it. And I was looking to see, do I know them from anywhere? Now, the mom, Katerine, I found out where I remembered her from. So the actress name is Fion Fionnuala Flanagan. She's an Irish actress from Irish stage, television, films. Um, you may remember her. And honestly, this makes me really want to go back and watch Lost. I loved Lost. Yes, it ended kind of weird, not the way I wanted it. A lot of things that happens. Fans, things don't end the way fans want it, especially with a series that goes on for as long as Lost did. But she was Eloise Hawking. And Eloise Hawking was kind of in the end of the series, in the present day back home, kind of helping them try to get back to the island. So Eloise Hawking is who that actress was in Lost, but she's a very established actress, has won awards. So I mean, Disney was like, or not Disney, but Lucasfilm was pulling from some major names to at least get notoriety for people to watch. The father was played by Guy Boyd. He is a very established American actor as well. Appeared in over 150 stage and screen productions since the late 1970s. None of which that really, I know I've seen his face, many television shows, things like that, kind of pop up episodes here and there. Nothing major that I've ever watched, but maybe something that you have pulled from. He does have that face that you remember. You remember. As far as the other Ewoks, Weechi, which was one of Wicket's siblings, was played by Debbie Lee Carrington. Debbie Lee Carrington has been in many, many movies, including Total Recall, the Arnold Schwarzenegger version. I mean, I don't think they've actually... Did they do like a reboot with the same name? They've done tons of offshoots of that story under different names. But the Total Recall film with Arnold Schwarzenegger, she was in that as well. Probably her biggest role, I would think. But been in many, many television series, even Seinfeld, all sorts of television. But she also played Rumba in Return of the Jedi. If you remember, Rumba was in Return of the Jedi. That was one of the Ewoks that she played. Tony Cox played Whittle, which was one of Wicket's other siblings. And he was also in Return of the Jedi as another Ewok. One of the other things that he played, one of my favorite satire movies, spoof movies, Spaceballs. He played one of the Dinks. Love the Dinks. And he also was in Willow, another Lucasfilm. He was a Nelwyn warrior in Willow, the movie, the movie actually. And then another very notable name was the narrator of the film. And this is the one thing that was interesting about this film was it was narrated because there isn't a lot of speaking because the Ewoks do not talk. They speak Ewokese, so they didn't just dub their voices or whatever. It's one of those hard things to do when you have a major alien race that we don't understand. Don't do subtitles, kind of like the Wookiees. Ewoks are the same way. You just kind of, by their actions, you kind of have to know what they're saying and what they're meaning. So they had to narrate the film to kind of carry along the film story. And this narration was done by Burl Ives. Burl Ives is an iconic name in music, in singing, acting, just a career that spans more than 6 decades of his life. Now, Burl Ives is no longer with us, but what a catalog from him. And when you hear his voice and then you go back and you see what he sang, what he did, you like, I remember him. I know him, especially if you grew up around that time where any of that stuff that he had released was done. So, but Burl Ives was the narrator of the Ewok Caravan of Courage movie. The director of the film was John Cordy. He was a director and animator of projects during that time. It was appropriate that somebody that with animation directed that film because there was a lot of special effects in this film. So So the story of the Ewok Caravan of Courage, it was a story that George Lucas had kind of laid out and drafted, but he did not finish the actual screenplay. That was done by Bob Caro, and then director John Cordy transformed everything on Skywalker Ranch, actually, is where it was filmed. So they took that scenic North American or Northern California site and made it into the backdrop of this movie. The Roy's Redwoods Preserve in the San Geronimo Valley, the ferns, the redwood trees, made this into the Forest Moon home of Endor, which a lot of that was, I mean, we know Crescent Valley was used, which was a lot farther north at the time, was used for most of Return of the Jedi. So very appropriate to have California be the backstage for these films. Both Ewok films were some of the last intensive stop motion animation work for ILM that were produced. So this kind of stands out as being something of great history for Star Wars, for movies, for Industrial Light and Magic. Again, stop motion was really the way to get these special effects to come to screen with some of these creatures, and that's what was used. And this was one of the last films that Lucasfilm did this for, because once we got into the early 80s, when these films were being developed for television, they were already starting for theatrical films, replacing this with Go Motion. Go Motion was more of an advanced form of animation with motorized puppets that moved while the camera shutter was open, rather than having to basically take a picture, move the puppet, take a picture, move the puppet, take a picture, move the puppet, which was the stop motion, basically having to stop every time you wanted to move, rather than the Go Motion where it was more motorized, and you can film that as well. So a little bit more advanced, again, progressing in the technology for ILM. So again, these Ewok movies were some of the last for stop motion animation at the time. The film's score for Caravan of Courage was composed by Peter Bernstein. Peter Bernstein, the son of legendary composer that had worked with his father a lot. So it was pulled from him to go ahead and complete this score based off of some of John Williams' theming and elements within Return of the Jedi and the Ewoks and so forth. So carrying on, it's a good score. It is a good score. During the shooting and production of Caravan of Courage, one of the interesting things is there was a lot of school-aged actors on site here, and these casts were placed on a very tight schedule. And I just can't imagine. I mean, I know that it's become a little stricter nowadays, but they had to divide their days evenly between school lessons, actual work on the film. Obviously, they had to memorize line, learn cues, the filming, all of that. So hats off to any child actors out there. I think that's why sometimes you just don't see them continue because of how rigorous it is. In 1985, Random House released a children's book adaptation of the Ewok Adventure by Amy Elric, titled The Ewoks and the Lost Children, which included stills from the film. I did not know that, actually. Now, as far as reviews, obviously this did not get very good praise. Just a couple of the reviews. New York Times, John J. O'Connor noted the film story as being almost aggressively simple, and that Mr. Lucas and crew do not come up with anything terribly astonishing. And I would kind of agree with that. It is a very simple storyline. It's not, obviously the budget was not over the top because it was for television. It did have its moments. If you watch it, it's very dated now. But if you go back and you look at it from a perspective of what they were accomplishing at the time and what they did with special effects, it has a place in history. It has a place in history. The another negative reception of the film, which kind of continued on. It didn't get any better for the Caravan of Courage. Aiden Mason of Pop Culture Beast called the movie a story without a sense of urgency and a chore to sit through. I wouldn't say it is a chore to sit through. It is delightful. I think it's fun. I think children. It's a family movie. It's good for kids. But yeah, there's no real sense of urgency in the movie. It is very laid back. It very slow moving in times in the film, but it's enjoyable, especially if you love Star Wars, if you love the Ewoks. It is. The Ewok Adventure was one of 4 films to be jury awarded Emmys for outstanding special visual effects at the 37th Primetime Emmy Awards. So again, the special effects were state of the art in the times. So it does have its mark in film history. It was something that at the time was moving forward in what we could do. So that should be noted. That should be noted. That should be a reason to watch this movie with the history of special effects. The film was additionally nominated for Outstanding Children's Program, but lost in that category to an episode of American Playhouse. Several elements from the film have gone on to appear in other works of Star Wars Expanded Universe, but all of that of what happened was declared non-canon, rebranded as Legends in 2014, which is that time that everybody, got really mad that all of that Star Wars was decanonized. But the one thing that has been reintroduced in Star Wars canon from the Ewok Adventures is the Gorax. Yes, the Gorax, the creatures that take the Tawani parents and who they have to rescue from the one Gorax that was in the film. But the Gorax was reintroduced to the Disney Star Wars canon in the second season episode, Traps and Tribulations of the animated web series Star Wars Forces of Destiny. This is where Princess Leia Organa and Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker aid the Ewoks, Nisa and Wicket against the rampaging beast. So Nisa, who again was one of the Ewoks in the Ewok Adventure animated series, was also canonized, which I love. I would love to see Nisa at some point in Star Wars canon again. I would love to see the Ewoks somehow make it on screen at some point or another. Why don't they ever go back to Endor? So yeah, that is the Ewok Adventure, Caravan of Courage. Again, not long ago in this galaxy, January 22nd, 1985, theatrical premiere of Caravan of Courage, the Ewok Adventure, in Panama. If you've never watched it, again, it's on Disney Plus. It is something that you can sit down and watch. I wouldn't recommend late nights if you're tired. It will put you to sleep. But it is a fun Star Wars adventure, especially for the kids. I don't think it'll give them too many nightmares. Maybe the Gorax might. I don't know. But maybe you got to be careful with that. But it is a fun little adventure. So moving on, we're going to get some Marvel stuff here, right? So I love this announcement. This announcement actually came out today, I believe, or yesterday. I think it was yesterday it came out. Marvel Star Wars is launching into the New Republic era with our favorite heroes. Love this, right? This is cool. We haven't really seen much of this yet. So this is going to be after Return of the Jedi with our favorite heroes. So love this. So this is our Marvel Star Wars flagship comic. It's going to expand on our understanding of the original trilogy. It's going to be relaunched this May. So great May the 4th gift, right? With a new series of stories set after the events of Star Wars Return of the Jedi. You can get a look at the cover of issue number 1 on StarWars.com right now. There's a little bit of a glimpse of what the cover looks like, but the full cover and also a variant cover, I believe, is shown on StarWars.com right now. The artist of the cover is Phil Noto, and you can learn a little bit about this flagship series from our best-selling writer, Alex Segura. The official synopsis of Star Wars issue number 1 is that Luke Skywalker is defending the New Republic from a bloodthirsty gang of mercenaries. Han Solo is investigating a deadly underworld mystery and saves a surprising ally. And Leia Organa is grappling with a new alliance opposed to the goals of the New Republic. So kind of like, I guess, starting that resistance part, really, is maybe what she's doing in this. That's actually my favorite part of these synopsis is actually Leia Organa. Is just to kind of see the birth of the resistance, maybe, is what we're seeing here. You can pick up your copy when it arrives on May the 7th. Star Wars number 1 is available for pre-order at your local comic book shop now. So if you're big into comics and you want to jump on this and get this, pre-order it. So I'm excited about this one. I don't think I'm going to pre-order it, but I'm excited to read this, especially Leia's part. Love a good Leia story, especially the Resistance. Love to see this birth of the Resistance. Got some Celebration news as well. Star Wars Celebration Japan. Super excited. We got some more celebrity guests confirmed for Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025. Ahmed Best and John Knoll have been added to the list of celebrity individuals headed to the celebration in Japan. Ahmed Best, love this. I love how Ahmed Best is just getting so much praise nowadays. Not everybody loved him when Jar Jar Binks came out in the Phantom Menace, but I loved him from the beginning. I love Jar Jar Binks. He is lovable to me. But then what a great addition to the Mandalorian series when Kelleran Beck, the Jedi who helped save Grogu, was revealed to be Ahmed Best as well. So that was fun to be able to see him in The Mandalorian. And he's coming to Star Wars Celebration Japan. So super fun that he'll be there. And John Knoll as well, who's done so much for Star Wars with special effects. And he even created Photoshop. Come on. John Knoll, amazing. So curious as to any projects he'll be working on or what panels he might be on. Looking forward to seeing him there as well. A list of all the celebrity guest announcements have already been on StarWars.com, and this has been added to it, updated to it, so you can get a list of who's been announced. Can't wait to get some more information on Star Wars Celebration as it just keeps getting closer and closer. It keeps getting more exciting. Makarari Messi, April 18th through 20th. It's getting so close. Star Wars Celebration Japan. Can't wait for that. But that is it for this week. Not much again in the world of Star Wars this week, but I'm just gonna make sure nothing new and crazy has been announced on StarWars.com. I don't see anything, but we're getting close to some exciting stuff. We got MegaCon coming up soon here in Orlando. Mosh Eisley coming up. Really looking forward to that. I think I got one little piece that I got to add to my costume for Mosh Eisley. So trying to maybe order that tonight, and hopefully it gets here. But I got to figure out how to open my Kintomo too. I think my batteries might be dead, but it's not opening. It's really making me mad. Really looking forward to everything that's coming up, and it's going to be a crazy start to this year with everything coming out with Star Wars. especially with the conventions. Conventions are going to be so much fun. And then, boom, it'll be Andor season 2 before we know it, right? But thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please like this podcast. Join me any Wednesday night, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Space Oats, a Star Wars podcast. Also, look at the Not Long Ago in this Galaxy segments that I do throw out there here on this YouTube channel as well. I also have an Instagram page. My Instagram page is at the Crucial Crew Member. I do some Star Wars posts, but I also do a lot of Disney, just everyday shots me, what I'm doing, what I'm up to, all that good stuff. And yeah, let's have some fun. Let's do some Star Wars stuff each and every day. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this later, remember to do something Star Wars. Watch some Star Wars, listen to some Star Wars, read some Star Wars, play some Star Wars, do something Star Wars each and every day. Most importantly, remember, whatever you're doing, may the stars light your way. Have a great evening, and hopefully I'll see you next week.